It's time for Twist, the week in sports talk, with your hosts Mike Reeves, Matt Benz, and Greg Green Bay Bauman. Coming live from the Minuteman Press studio, here's your hosts.
What up? Here we are, episode 11 of Twist, the week in sports talk. Coming live to you from Facebook. Also over there, we're live on Twitter. And also, you're going to want to check us out on rtfsportsnetwork.com. We have our own show page. We go live Mondays at 7 p.m. Also, if you go to rtfsportsnetwork.com, you got to vote for our show. It ends tomorrow.
Tonight? Tomorrow?
No, tomorrow.
Oh, tonight? Oh, all right.
Sunday.
Sure. Okay.
God damn it. So anyway, vote for the show. We're in third place. We're probably going to end in third. The two other shows are quite a bit ahead of us.
Unless we get a lot of support.
Miracles happen.
So we just need like 200 votes from you guys. And so rtfsportsnetwork.com, Twist Nation. Help us out. So we got a great show for you guys today. We're interviewing John Barry, who's the host for the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you guys have ever been to the show, he's the one running around on the court with the mic.
Hype man.
So we're going to call him to kick it off and see what's going on with the puppies.
The state of the Wolves.
Ooh, it's ringing.
That's a good sign.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, John? You're on Twist, man.
How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you're live on Twist. We got three hosts. This is Mike. We got Greg Green Bay Bauman to my left here and Matt Benz.
Yes.
So we appreciate you coming on with us. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Awesome, man. Well, we did have just kind of an intro, right? You're going to kind of let them know. Obviously, you're kind of the hype man. You're the host for the Timberwolves. We obviously have been to a couple games this year. We know how excited you can get the fans. So my big question, just to kind of lead in here, is what is the environment like since the shuffle of the deck with that roster? How did Target Center feel when you were there that night?
It's like nothing I've ever, well, I can say nothing I've ever felt, but it's gotten to that level where people are really excited to be in the building to see the product that's on the court.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when the trade went through for D'Lo, it's obviously we're all calling each other pumped up about it because that's just what we want. We want something to get excited about because it has been so stale for so long now. Obviously, when Jimmy Butler was here, we had a run to the playoffs, and that was exciting in of itself. But since that, I mean, it's just been hard to watch, quite honest. And we want Cat's years here that he does have left to be exciting to watch. So that's awesome. Mike, what do you got for him?
I wanted to know how you got, your start with the Wolves. I know you've done some DJing and stuff in the past, but how did the Wolves job kind of come to fruition?
Well, I was a season ticket holder for 3 years before they opened up the job to everybody. It's open audition. They had come in. There's about 100 people that tried out. And the first audition, they bring me in, and it's an empty court. There's no court. It's empty. And it's the most nervous I've ever been in my entire life. And they make me go read and play a game on the court. And okay. I mean, I've done it before. I worked at Radio Disney doing events for them. But nothing to this grand of scale. So, and me being a Wolves fan my entire life, being on that court is just like, oh my goodness, I'm actually down here working with the team, doing something that I like to do. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. So one audition led to 2 auditions, led to 3 auditions, led to that summer, I'm getting a call saying, hey, we want to put out, great. If not, you just go back and sit your seats as a season ticket number. So it was kind of a trial by fire. And we got in the first game. I was a nervous wreck. There's 18,000 people in the building. We're playing the Chicago Bulls and Jimmy Butler. And it's a good opening night crowd. And I had one hit. I think my voice cracked. I've got the video somewhere. And it just kind of snowballed from there. So that's how I kind of got my start. It was just a random Facebook post that they posted, and I showed up for an open audition.
Wow, that's awesome.
Nice. What I wanted to know was, all you hear this year with the Wolves is, the season ticket holders, it's one of the lower numbers in the league. Unfortunately, the team doesn't have the greatest product this year, unfortunately. Does it create a different environment for you, not because the stadium isn't full, but because you know that the fans that are there are the diehards? They're the ones who care. So is it easier to interact with the crowd because you know that you're getting those diehard fans that really care about the Wolves, good or bad?
I treat every game like it's my last game that I'm ever going to do it. Whoever is there, whether it's 500 people or 25,000 people, I want to bring that same energy to the court and make it seem like it doesn't matter if it's Tuesday in January or Game 7 of the NBA Finals. We still got to get hyped. This is our team. This is our stadium. It's our arena. We have to make sure it's our home and make sure the players know that we are here too, no matter how many people are there.
Right on. So what are some of the coolest dudes or ladies that you've met courtside? How about that?
I've met Sting. Sting was cool. Sting and Shaggy. They did a collaboration together, and they were promoting it. It was Super Bowl week, and they helped us throw T-shirts. So I got to meet Sting and Shaggy. Ice Cube, Lil Jon. Lil Jon was really cool, actually.
He would be cool to meet. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really cool. All of the Lynx players that I've gotten to meet that have sat courtside are really cool as well.
Sure.
Everyone I meet is just awesome. It's just an opportunity to meet someone. The Vikings that are there, it's nice to meet them. So yeah, it's just everybody that comes through. That's a big name. I love Andrew Zimmer. That's actually my favorite person that I've met.
Awesome.
Courtside. He's a really nice guy. He lives down, and he's willing to be a fan. I love it.
Awesome.
Who was the halftime show we saw? It was an old school band.
Quad City DJs.
Quad City DJs. We were there for that one. That was pretty sweet.
They were pretty cool. They do their thing. They come in and do it at the arena. They come in and do it very professional. They kill it every time.
Heck yeah.
Could you walk us through kind of a day at your job at the Target Center from, the time you get in? We had Sean Parker was our very first interview on this show, I think episode 4 or 5. He kind of talked to us about kind of what he goes in, reading kind of the players' names. But from your end, it's obviously a different job. And just walk us through a day in the life.
Depending on what day it is, weekends are different than weekday games because I have a regular 9-to-5 job. So weekday game, I'm rolling at Target Center probably about 5:15. I've gotten the script ahead of time about it, and I've read through the script to see what's happening, what sort of promotions and prizes we're giving away as well too, what sort of corporate things we have to take care of through that game. And then it's just a rundown with the stage managers and the executive producers of the game, making sure we've got everybody in the right places at the right time. And it's just going over it with my co-host as well, because we've got some stuff that we go back and forth with, especially pregame and the first couple of hits. And then we just go from there and just that energy, that entertainment that we do.
Awesome. That
Cool.
is sweet.
Is there any point where before the game, during warm-ups, layup drills, anything like that, where you're told, go to this guy specifically or stay away from this guy? Are you kind of coached as far as this guy wants to hype the crowd, whether it's D'Lo because it's his first game or whether it's, whoever it is, someone who just are you kind of like coached in any way as far as who they want you to go to or stay away from?
No, everyone is kind of fair game. I mean, it really depends on the game itself. So for the last game, we interviewed Carl.
Mm-hmm.
That was the game before the first game where they shuffled the deck. Malik Beasley goes off, and PR comes over and asks me who we want to put on the board after the game, and I asked them. They were like, on TV. Okay, fine, we'll get Cat. So we put Cat on 22, 11, and 9. Crowd goes nuts. It's fantastic. So it's working with PR. It's working with everyone in the building to be collaborative on. So we put the best product out on so everybody can see it.
Sure.
Got it.
You mentioned kind of working with Radio Disney. I had seen when I looked up a little bit on your background. What did you do with them?
I was in the promotions department. So we would go and do events at all types of places in the Twin Cities, whether it be Mall of America, the State Fair, even small businesses. We would go out and do that. Part of a radio station that you would do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So last question for me is, what are some of your goals moving forward, man? I mean, obviously this is a stepping stone, or maybe it isn't. I just kind of want to pick your brain on that. What is something that you would enjoy to do next?
My goal is to get to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
To host an All-Star game.
Okay.
Wherever it is, it could be Indy, it could be LA, it doesn't matter. Just want to get there and enjoy that vibe.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Hosting an NBA Finals game. And I know it has nothing to do with that, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's all the Wolves.
Yeah.
Good luck
We're
there.
on our way, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And then parlaying into something bigger. I don't know what that is yet.
Sure.
Honestly, I have no idea. It's been a fun ride. I want to keep it going as long as possible.
Heck yeah.
And you do DJing as well. I assume that's not your 9 to 5. Does your 9 to 5 have anything to do with kind of the promotional side of radio or television, or is it just, like a warehouse gig or something?
I'm in commercial advertising.
Okay.
So I work with clients and I create their advertising campaigns for them.
Right on.
So right now we're talking with John Barry. He's the host MC for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Speaking of the Wolves, I mean, we touched on it a little bit at the beginning. Are you excited for the future? I know you work with them, but, like Matt and I, not Green Bay Greg over here, we're both, got our Wolves hats on. We enjoy going to the games. We love the team. We know it's been dismal for many, many years, but now it seems like, the what do we call it? The Rosas, trust the Rosas,
Yeah.
the Prosas, is going well. He's making moves, and what's your take for the future?
I'm excited to see where the team goes. I mean, obviously we have a lot of work to do. The summer's going to be huge on the draft with free agency and a lot of money coming off the books. I'm excited to see the rest of this season, see what Malik Beasley does. Watch make sure we get everybody back before we can start to really evaluate the team, because it's been sort of incomplete even after the trade. We've had 7 guys in, and we had, D'Lo's been out and Cat's been out, and I want to get everybody together, playing together for a stretch of games to see what this team is really about.
I'm actually excited Cat's out. We had a guest interview last week talking about the Wolves, and he can basically stay out the rest of the year for all I care. I mean, for a hype man talking to maybe 2,000 people that show up, if our main people are hurt, might suck, but I'm trying to get a good lottery pick here.
I mean, honestly, I just want the guys to play together. Whether that it includes 15 more wins or 6 more wins, I just want everybody together.
Right.
And it does make it for a more robust atmosphere. Target Center, I'm still going to bring it no matter if there's like 2,000 people or 15,000 people.
Sure.
But it makes it fun for the fans. It will always be a show for the fans that are there. So no matter who's in the lineup, come out, you'll have fun. You're going to have a good time at Target Center.
And we'll vouch for that. We've been to a game. It was actually when we played the Raptors, last game of the season last year. So Towns was out And we had a blast. I mean, we just like going out as buddies, getting to the Target Center. Like you said, you guys put on a great show outside of the actual game. So it's just a fun environment. I got a signed shoe from Anthony Tolliver. He had a huge bag of shoes that game, just tossing them out and tossing them out. And so you guys do a great job, putting that together. So from a fan aspect, we appreciate you.
Yes.
That's a big shout out to the team that put that show together. They do a tremendous job from the videos that you see, from the bits that you see from all the players. They all do a tremendous job. And I give a big shout out to that entire team.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, I don't have anything left for you, John. We appreciate you coming on, and Twist Nation appreciates you as well. You can find John Barry on Twitter and Instagram at MC John B. Make sure to book them for your wedding or anything else you got going on. So,
yes.
Thanks for your time, guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
John.
Appreciate
Have a great weekend,
Yeah.
bud. Appreciate it.
thank you. Go Wolves.
You too, guys. Yep.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Excellent.
Well,
That's
good.
awesome.
Good way to start off the show with a little T-Wolves. I mean, I'm still tingling from that D'Lo trade. And how about you, Greg? What do you?
Hey,
Milwaukee's got the best record in the NBA.
I was gonna see
Oh.
you guys cut me off. I was gonna ask if Team Giannis has a chance tomorrow night against Team LeBron.
He doesn't care.
I know, but it's but I care.
Sad part is he probably doesn't care.
He does.
But he's
Yeah.
talking about how he wanted to host an All-Star game.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this All-Star game? First of all, I'll be the first to say, I don't know if you have it in topics. I think Team Giannis is going to get their asses handed to them.
Well,
I mean-
we'll see. I mean, yeah, it was a different. Yeah, it was when they drafted those teams, which that is.
I
such
don't
a
like
mess,
that.
but
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, you draft the teams. Giannis basically said, "I want to be the MVP, so I'm not going to have anybody that's
Yeah.
not going to pass me the rock."
Exactly.
Like, okay, whatever.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, headlines for the week. We've got the first headline. Jason Zucker gets traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins. That noise is simply because I personally like Jason Zucker, but I get why they got rid of him, and I like what they got. So the Minnesota Wild have traded left wing Jason Zucker to the Pittsburgh Penguins for center Alex Galchenyuk, defenseman
Nailed it.
Kalen Addison, and a 2020 conditional first-round pick. That conditional pick means that if the Penguins for some reason don't make the playoffs this year, which they're going to, but if they don't, they can readjust what pick that is. Rather than being in 2020, it could turn out to be a 2021 pick, things of that nature. Galchenyuk has 5 goals and 12 assists in his first season in Pittsburgh, his third team in as many seasons. His best season was 2015 and 2016 when he scored 30 goals and 25 assists for the Canadiens. Dude's a beast. He just hasn't had anywhere to anchor down. So I like getting him. And then also that pick is huge. You will think about last year when we got rid of, help me out. You guys don't know, so that doesn't matter.
What?
But anyways, when the Wild made the trade last year, they only did a pick or a player for a player instead of adding that pick, which we should have gotten. So that's unfortunate, but Jason, we wish you the best of luck. Second headline, Bruce Boudreau was fired by the Minnesota Wild.
He gone.
General manager Bill Guerin fired Bruce Boudreau on Friday, entering his 4th season with the organization. Dean Evanson will be the interim coach. Bruce went 158 and 110 with 35 ties, or 35 wins in OT with the Wild, making the playoff in his first 2 years, but losing in the first round of both of those playoff appearances. So bye-bye, Bruce. On to the next one. I really like how all these Minnesota teams are shuffling the decks. It's awesome. I can't wait to see what the Vikes
Get him out of here.
Anyways, number 3, Timberwolves lose in D'Lo's first 2 games. Yeah. They lost to Toronto 127 to 136, and they also lost to Charlotte 115 to 108. Strong performances in both games by Malik Beasley and D'Lo. Malik is a beast.
Yeah, no, we're
Yeah.
gonna keep him.
Oh yeah.
Like Joe said last week, we got to make sure that he'll go for about $15 million a year.
Yep.
Slide right into that starting two.
Love
I
it.
like it.
Yeah, a guy on the arc that can actually hit the buckets.
Yep.
Love it. And then lastly, the last headline of the week, we've got the XFL opening weekend was a success, and they look to build on it. The XFL's first ever game between the DC Defenders and the Seattle Dragons drew an average audience of 3.3 million viewers during its ABC broadcast. Viewership peaked near the end of the game with roughly 4 million viewers. Just to put that into kind of comparison, it is comparable to that of the ESPN's Christmas Day broadcast of an NBA matchup between the Boston Celtics and the Toronto Raptors. So good viewership. They got great channels with the games on. So hopefully they can keep it going. This is the fun fact. The XFL before kickoff has already surpassed ticket sale revenue for the entire season of the AAF.
Wow.
So, they're boosting. Vince McMahon's doing his thing. We'll see if it can stick. That's the headlines for the week. Thank you.
On this day in history, in 1887, the Cubs sell Mike King Kelly to Boston for a record 10 stacks.
10 stacks.
Back
Wow.
in 1887. I wonder how much 10 grand was worth. How much was 10 grand worth in 1887, Greg?
Well, it'd be the equivalent now. I have no idea.
Sure he doesn't.
Don't be modest.
In 1912, Arizona becomes the 48th state of the Union. 1929, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. 7 gangster rivals of Al Capone were murdered in Chicago when Jack Machine Gun McGurn ordered the kill of the rival George Bugs Moran.
Chi-Town.
Yep. 1948, NASCAR holds its first race for modified stock cars on a 3.2-mile course at the one and only Daytona Beach.
Wow, fun fact.
Wow.
1951, Sugar Ray Robinson defeats Jake LaMotta and takes the middleweight title. And some fun birthdays.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. Guy running for president, Michael Bloomberg, best known as the mayor of New York City and one of the top 10 richest men in America. Good luck, Michael. Gonna need it. 1960, Jim Kelly was born, U.S. NFL quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. He was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And another quarterback in 1972, Drew Bledsoe for the Patriots. He was born in Washington.
Look at that.
Wow.
So there you go. On this day in news.
God, beautiful segment. We really need to get you like one of those old school hair pieces with like the gray curls,
Oh, yeah.
like Benjamin Frank and stuff like that.
I like
nice
it.
Cloak, glasses.
I like it.
Oh, it's great.
Put your hands together for the twist topics of the week.
Here we
Favorite part.
go.
Let's go.
Twist topic number 1.
Numero uno. Oh,
Oh, a little off on that.
I liked it. Ooh.
Could the national championship LSU team beat the best XFL team? I know this has been swirling around in the news as of late, but we wanted to discuss it as a twist topic.
Okay, so
Let's solidify who is the best XFL team.
the
DC?
no, I think it's Houston.
Houston?
Yeah. So it comes up every year whenever an NCAA team has a powerhouse team. Usually it's someone coached by Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And they're always saying, could they beat, let's just in this case say the Cincinnati Bengals, the worst team in the NFL? Well, the argument always comes back because you have those sycophants that say, yeah, we could beat them. No, you have 10 NFL players on your team. You know how many professional players an NFL team has on it? 53.
Yeah.
They're all professionals. They all made it through. You have, over the course of 10, 15 years, these guys have proven that they're good enough to be in the NFL. College teams maybe get 10 guys drafted. The best team will get 10 guys drafted, and maybe 4 or 5 of those guys work out into the NFL.
Sure.
Here's the thing. You know how many how many NFL players an XFL team has on it? 0.
Yeah. Good point.
By definition, they're not good enough to play in the NFL. Otherwise, they would be. They wouldn't be making $50,000 a year playing in the XFL. They'd be making $4 million playing in the NFL.
They're backups and practice squad players.
Yeah. So I think the better argument is if you go down the AP top 10, how many of those top 10 teams could beat the best XFL team? Because LSU easily could.
Yeah.
I think it would be by 3 touchdowns or more. I think the question is, now do you get down to the Oregons, the Wisconsins, the Minnesotas, those teams that filter around 8 to 15? Which of those teams could beat an XFL team?
Minnesota could beat all of them, hands down.
Tanner Morgan.
Yep.
Okay.
So Wisconsin would probably lose.
That was great passion.
I think. Yeah.
Didn't Wisconsin beat Minnesota? Yeah. Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. What about 2 years ago?
Oh, geez, we're talking about this year.
It's okay.
The XFL was around 2 years ago.
So now we want to talk about current stats, but when we're talking about the pack, it's always about the history.
Yeah.
What's going on here, Greg?
Okay, this year, how many times did the Vikings beat the Packers?
I get that.
0.
Understandable. All right, on to the next one.
Okay.
So hold on before we go to the next one. PJ Walker against Joe Burrow. Exactly.
Yeah.
That settles it right there.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is going to put up 6 touchdowns against an XFL team.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, more than that, he does that against the best college football teams out there.
Right.
Yeah. The trouble is, half of these guys in the XFL, were delivering newspapers a few weeks ago before they got these contracts and stuff. So, we'll kind of see maybe down the road in year 2 and year 3 as XFL builds their brand and their players a little bit more, but got to give it to LSU.
Yeah.
Twist topic number 2.
Número 2.
There's been a lot of rumors that the Lions and Panthers are moving on from their quarterbacks. Who's a better option for New England if and when Brady leaves? Matthew Stafford or Cam Newton? Or maybe C?
Well, I've been hearing that a lot this week about Stafford moving on. And the problem with him is it's a huge contract. Cam Newton is still, there's not a whole lot of dead money in that contract. But if you're just going player for player, take out the money factor, I think that Matt Stafford can run an offense better. I think that if you take on Cam Newton, you have to take on a special type of offense. You have to take on an offense there where he's got to get rid of the ball in a very quick amount of time, no more than a 3-step drop back. And you have to assume that he's going to run the ball more often than he should.
Yeah.
He's the type of quarterback that panics too quickly, but when he panics, he can make a big play by running. Stafford is more similar to what the Patriots are used to, which is that statue in the backfield that's going to sit there and break down a defense. The guy doesn't throw for 4,500, 5,000 yards in a season because he's stupid.
No.
He knows what he's doing. And I think that he would fit with that offense a lot better.
Interesting. Yeah, it's tough, man. I like Cam because if Cam's healthy, he's elite. But can he be healthy, or is he just slowly declining and constantly going to keep getting hurt? Stafford, never been a really big fan of him. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I don't know if I'd invest there. So I'm going to invest in my guy,
Jake Fromm.
Oh, God.
Jake with State Farm, baby. Let's go. He's wearing khakis. He's wearing a red polo. He's selling you insurance, and he's going in the first round. Let's go, baby.
And he'll be selling insurance in about 3 years.
Yeah,
that's right. As long as he goes in the first round.
Greg's going to be splashing some
I'm
water
telling
on
you,
Matt.
Watch him in the combine. Dude's going to be ripping it up. Draft stock's going to go through the roof. Let's go.
Anyway, yeah, I like what Greg said. I think Cam's probably going to the Chargers. Chargers need a big-name quarterback in L.A. I think they need to make a massive move there, and I do like Matthew Stafford. I don't think Belichick's touching Cam Newton. So Stafford fits into that mold of a New England quarterback with a strong arm. I mean, Brady's never been known as this huge, strong-arm quarterback, and Stafford can launch it. So that'd be a good fit for me.
Twist topic number 3.
Numero 3. Time's ticking.
Which team won the Wild Pelicans trade and why? We're going to lean on Ben's to start this one.
Sure. So I think the best part about the trade was it was a win-win. Obviously, I would say the Penguins win the trade simply because they get Zucker, who's established. He's going to help them get further along in the playoffs this year. But for what we needed to get for him, we won in that way. So it's a win-win. Bill Guerin, who's our guy that facilitated the trade, used to be with the Penguins, so it was kind of nice that he already had that relationship with them. Billy was actually trying to get Zucker last year in the trade, so it worked out, and Billy still made him pay for what they got. So win-win on both sides, but the Penguins unfortunately got the best of the deal.
I just think that, like Matt said earlier, I like the fact that the teams from Minnesota are doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, since I moved up here 17 years ago, all I've known about the Minnesota Wild is best case scenario, they lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Sure. And we've always wanted to say they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
In any sport, it's always we've got these guys and this is the guys that we're going with. It's like, why? If you continue to do what you've always done, you will continue to get what you always got.
Wow. You should write that down.
Boom, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go. Monsters kicking in.
Twist topic number 4.
Charge it.
Speaking of trades and winning, which team won the Twins and Dodgers trade and why?
Take this one too. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll respond to you.
So I will say that the Twins won simply because we're trying to win now. And it's interesting because the Dodgers have the depth already in their roster, so they can afford to make these moves, to get a flamethrower. But also I like that now we have more competition in our starting rotation, which isn't very good, but competition breeds success. So, you throw those guys in there, veterans that are consistent. If you look at Maeda's stats, the dude Ks people, for one, which means he's throwing strikes, but he's also smart and consistent. That's what it's all about. If you can get a starting pitcher in our rotation that gives up about 3 runs a game, we're hitting dongs.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Bombers.
To answer your question, I think that the winner of that is the Twins because they directly filled the need, like you said. We needed starting pitching. We scored enough runs. We have enough bodies in the bullpen. What we didn't have was that starter or those 2 starters that can take you 7 innings every so often to give that bullpen relief. Whereas when you're a team like the Dodgers, the Yankees, these teams with these incredibly high payrolls, you just want the best player possible and you'll find a place for him.
Sure.
You can't afford to do that if you're the Twins. And I think the Twins were able to fill a need.
Sure.
Another Minnesota team just shaking it up, sending, I think Gratterall was their number 3 prospect. So time will tell who really won that.
Yeah.
We'll see, obviously we liked Gratterall here, but yeah, the Twins won.
But before we switch it up, also Maeda was also their closer at one time for the Dodgers. So that's another thing. When you get Big Mike Pineda back, once he's off of his suspension, things like that, you got this guy's ability to actually put him into the bullpen and have some more depth there too. So awesome. Love it.
Connor says, I bet we pick up another established pitcher mid-year for a playoff run. I absolutely agree with that.
And that's the thing is when they're making moves right now, come end of July, as long as things keep going the way they've been going, and you don't even need a season like you did last year where they were just incredibly doing so much better than all you have to do is be in first or second place in their division, and they're going to be buyers at the end of July.
You need first place. Without a doubt, you need first place. We don't want to play the Yanks. You got to have first.
Well, no, I think that if you're first and second, you're going to be buyers at the end of July.
Sure,
which is all you want to be.
You 90 to 94. We need 90 to 94 wins this year, and we also need to realize that what our front office is doing is working. It's Moneyball. It's not the big names, even though we got Donaldson and some other people. It's all bargain bin people, all analytics. That's the shit that works nowadays. As long as you're not banging on trash cans up in the stands, we'll get double.
In the bullpen or in the dugout, I mean. That's
either or.
So for those of you watching live right now on RTF Sports Network, we will be on Monday. We're also live on Twitter. And be sure to go to rtfsportsnetwork.com right now, or if you're watching it later, and click on Vote for Your Favorite Show. And obviously that's Twist.
Yeah,
Okay.
vote for us.
Vote for
Don't
us.
Don't just vote for anybody.
Yeah. So anyway, just had to touch on that again. Here we go.
Twist topic number 5.
Yes, he is. The XFL reportedly wanted Colin Kaepernick, but his salary demands were too much. Does he even want to play football?
Okay, first of all, no. He's writing a book, and he's almost done with the book. So the whole book is about his, want for social just blah, blah, blah. Social justice, all this stuff. So all he's been trying to do, in my opinion, is stay relevant. So he would whine, moan, and complain about not being picked up by an NFL team. Yet there's at least 6 different examples of NFL teams that were saying, we want to bring him in.
Absolutely.
And now the XFL is saying to him, do you want to even play? And he keeps turning down these options. Why? He just wants to stay relevant until this book comes out. He'll make more money on this book. He'll go on Oprah. He'll go on Ellen, all these shows, sell his book. God, good for you. But you know what? Professional football doesn't want you anymore, so go away.
I'm not even going to talk about it.
The AAF, he wanted, his demands were $20 million.
And the highest paid player, they pay quarterbacks premium in both the XFL and the AAF. They were getting paid like $1.5 million, the best of the best.
Yeah.
And he wanted $20 million. I'm sorry, you're just not that good.
He's already rich from the settlement.
Yeah.
He's rich from Nike. He's rich from his money in the NFL. So this shouldn't be about money.
Yeah.
You cry and you bitch and you moan about wanting to play football. Yeah. And you had an opportunity in the NFL as of late. Mm-hmm. The AAF, the XFL, it's like he clearly doesn't want to. So I hope his book, I hope people kneel to take on it.
And the funniest thing about him is I think that, I've said this before, the greatest commodity in life is self-awareness. I think what he realizes is that he's just not that good of a quarterback. And he doesn't want people to realize it because then he becomes that much less relevant.
You are so dumb. You are so dumb. Dang it.
He is so dumb. Twist topic number 5.5. So we'll stick with the quarterbacks.
So it's not 5.1. It's 5.5.
Yeah, we'll round up to a half.
Got it.
5.5.
Okay.
Heavy on the scale.
Oh, God, Greg, he's just always – anyway, so we're going to stick with the quarterbacks. We're going to stick with the XFL. So if you were Clemson quarterback –
sure.
Would
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, would you go play for the XFL for $10 million next year or go back to Clemson? So basically $1 million a game.
No.
Not for a second.
No.
I think that he's the number 1 pick in the draft next year, and I think that outside of a Tua type injury,
correct.
There's no way he's not. He could have a subpar year, and I think he's because of his body type, he's still the number 1 pick.
He could literally not play a game this year, and he's still going to be top pick. So.
Yeah, and I think that I don't. Think
I get it though. You're saying 10
I mean,
million.
that's $10 million guaranteed.
Sure.
But it's crazy because in college, you're about to start being able to make money playing anyway. And the fun thing with, national college football is nobody knew who the hell Joe Burrow was at the beginning of the season.
Sure.
He climbed up the ranks. It was Tua, number 1 for sure. So it'll be interesting to see next year, if somebody – Trevor Lawrence, obviously, I think at 6'6", 260 is going to be the first overall pick.
And let's be honest, he plays for Clemson – he's making at least $10 million under the table right now.
Oh, God. If Greg doesn't appear later this week, you'll know why.
Yep.
The NCAA took care of him. So. God, this is great 90s.
It's now time for Back to Back. Between Matt Benz and Green Bay Bowman.
Get it.
So for those of you who don't know, we've done this game one other time on the show. It's called Twists Back to Back, where we're going to have 2 names that form into each other. So for example, we used this the last time too. You have a former Colts wide receiver who wore the number 88 and played Han Solo in Star Wars.
Marvin Harrison Ford.
Boom.
Yeah, you don't get that point.
That's right.
All right.
I'm up 1-0.
So these guys don't know any of the questions or answers, obviously.
Yeah,
And
that
we're going to
would be fun.
do a special back-to-back NBA edition for NBA All-Star Weekend.
I'm going to get crushed.
So here
We'll
we
see,
go.
we'll see.
We have 1, 2.
So do we have to
3.
yell our name? Or
Well, you
yell
don't
out the
have to
answer?
yell.
Well, not yell, but do
We're
we say our
inside.
if we say our name or do we say the answer?
There are. No, you got to buzz in.
Okay.
Like buzz.
Buzz.
Do you got these done? How many
I
questions?
do. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Okay, good. We can't have a tie then.
Can't have a tie. Question number 1 of back-to-back. Traded to the Wolves and a triple-double machine. Your name is your buzzer.
Greg. D'Lo Russell Westbrook.
Well, hold on.
Say that again.
What was that?
What's that?
What's his first name?
You stuttered quite a bit.
Well, okay. D'Lo Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook.
He's still stuttering, folks. His name's not D'Lo.
Well,
This is the test. What's his first name?
I can't believe this. I'm drawing such a freaking blank right now. D'Angelo Russell Westbrook.
Oh, good job, Greg.
That's right.
Boom. Greg's on
job.
the board.
You worked for that one.
I did.
He did.
I'm
And
proud
he
of you.
deserved it.
For the past week, I've only referred to him as D'Lo.
Well, yeah.
Because of what?
Most people do. Yeah, I get it.
Because of what Joe Nelson said.
Yeah.
Who's ever called him Russ? D'Lo.
D-Russ.
Yeah. So it's been in my head the whole week.
All right.
Okay.
So question number 1 goes to GBG. Question number 2 of back-to-back. Known as the King and known as the Beard.
Matt. So we've got LeBron James Harden.
That's right.
Boom.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
All right. Tie. 1-1. Question number 3. He's in State Farm commercials and was a new addition to the Clippers.
Matt. Chris Paul George.
That's right.
There it is.
I know you're not going to have one of these back-to-backs with Giannis Antetokounmpo. So.
That's right.
All right. So Matt's up 2-1 and back-to-back. Question number 4. He's an afro-wearing center for the Nets and traded to the Wolves from Atlanta. Both on their respected teams now. Big center for the Nets, big afro.
Yep.
Yep. And mid-season for the Timberwolves, they acquired him in a trade with the Atlanta.
Yeah, it's Matt.
This is a tougher one.
It's Alan Crabb. But what's the first name of the Nets center? I don't know. We'll say Carl. Carl Allen Crabb.
Nope.
I have no idea.
It's Jarrett Allen Crabb.
Tough one.
All right, so that point goes to Brian Dozier.
That a boy, Doge.
Yep. So it's
Keep smiling.
it's Dozier 1, Greg 1, and Matt 2.
Greg's tied with the card.
You're tied with the cardboard box here. All right.
All right, next.
Question number 5. Get your buzzers ready, folks.
Oh, yeah, they're ready.
Recently died in a tragic accident, and his nickname was Big Country.
Correct.
Matt.
That's too much time.
Go ahead.
Kobe Bryant Reeves. Big country.
That's right.
Good job. Way to mix in Reeves.
Of course.
I can tell you a funny story about Bryant Reeves.
Let's go for it.
Go ahead.
He played for Oklahoma State in college. Before college, he's small town farm boy, never been on a plane. When someone told him, be careful because your ears are going to pop, chew gum. Or chew gum to remove the ear popping.
We get it.
He chewed the gum, took it out and put the chewed gum in his ears, thinking that would remove the thing.
One of the smartest Reeves.
Hillbilly. Oh,
There you go.
I don't know why I remember things like that.
Good laugh.
oh, so
All right.
funny.
Keep
All
going.
right.
I'm in the zone.
So we got Greg at 2, Matt at 2, and Brian Cardboard Dozier is at 1.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 6.
Mhm.
Dunked with his tongue out and currently plays for the Jazz and has the same last name as an American Idol winner, Kelly.
Matt. Michael Jordan Clarkson.
Let's go! Let's go! So we do have one more. So hopefully Greg doesn't get it. Because then we will have a tie because I'm out of questions.
I don't mind tying with Greg, as long as Mike doesn't win, that's all that matters, really.
Well, yeah, I can't really win.
Exactly.
So
That's why I love this game.
played for Oak Hill Academy and was finally traded to the Lakers.
What?
Hold on.
Played for Oak Hill Academy and plays for the Lakers.
Hold on.
What do you guys each
Okay.
have?
Okay.
You have 2?
I'm up by 1.
You're up by 1. 3,
Hold on.
2, 1.
Oh, got it, Greg. Carmelo Anthony Davis.
Good job.
Wow.
I couldn't think of it.
I couldn't think of, Carmelo Anthony played for Oak Hill
That was
Academy.
beautiful. I don't know why. I was thinking Carmelo, but I wasn't thinking. I was thinking of other people.
And when he said finally traded to the Lakers, I completely
job.
forgot that they traded for him.
They did trade it. They
Yeah.
gave him a haul.
I thought that it was a free.
Tied up, baby. That's how we do it.
Ending with ties.
Beautiful.
All right.
It's like kissing your sister.
Whew.
That's such a Wisconsin thing to say.
I don't have a sister, so it's easy for me to say.
So we did have some breaking news
Yeah.
in sports as of recently. And our guest last week, Joe Nelson from Bring Me the News, is going to be our new special guest when anything Minnesota happens in a trade or anything like that. So we're going to have him break it down for us a little bit.
Break it down.
What is up, gentlemen?
What's
How
up?
you doing?
Bring me the news, Joe.
Talk to
I'm
us.
just, living the dream again. That's what I do.
Are you following the weather really in depth this weekend as well, or no?
Absolutely. I'm looking at the potential for a couple of inches of snow on Monday here in the Twin Cities.
Oh, that's
I
We'll see.
I so want your life just to follow the weather all the
a
time.
beautiful thing. He's following everything. So
I just read the weather service.
Yeah.
That's all I do.
And then you bring it to us.
That's
all right,
what we do.
So Joe, we had some headlines. We had the big Zucker trade, obviously. Do you kind of want to touch on that a little bit? Who won that trade in your aspect?
Well, I would reserve my comments to those of Pat Nicoletti, who I had on my podcast earlier this week, and I would say, yeah, the Wild won that trade for the main fact, 2 facts actually. 1, they got a first-round pick in what's supposed to be a deep draft, and 2, they saved $5.5 million on Jason Zucker's contract, and now they can use in free agency. So they're not as they're still salary capped and strapped because of Parisian suitors, never-ending deals. But
Yeah.
they cleared that cap space, and that could be a big time dividend when it comes to next season. Because you got Kirill Kaprizov coming in on a rookie contract, the first-round pick on a rookie contract, and we live in a day and age. If you get a high first-round pick, there's a good chance they're in the NHL sooner than later, versus waiting 2-3 years for them to develop. What I'm really interested in, actually, is I saw Bill Guerin was down in Iowa last night watching Jerry Mayhew and Kapel Kakkonen, the goaltender. Mayhew's got 41 goals now down in the AHL, and they have yet to call him up. So I'll be interested to see if he gets the call coming up here pretty soon. But, in baseball, they call guys like him a tweener. He's kind of that quadruple A player, not quite MLB ready, and that's kind of what they say about Mayhew in the NHL, but he hasn't really been given a fair shot, so I guess you don't know.
Any of your sources dropped any other names that could be getting moved anytime soon?
I've only heard what I've read what Michael Russo has said, and there's a lot of talk about Dumba and Jonas Brodin, but Garrett has seen these guys play really well of late, and if they continue to play well and they're still on pretty friendly contracts, then they make sense for the team going forward, especially if you don't want to do a total overhaul of the roster and compete next season. And that's what Craig Leopold, the owner, has said. He's gone on record saying, hey, we're not going to tear this whole thing down and go through a total rebuild. If we're gonna do this thing, we're gonna do it where we're gonna try to compete year in and year out. So that's what I think they'll continue to do.
We were gonna go live at noon, and Pat Micheletti was actually going to be our guest interview, but Greg's kid's got a stupid birthday party that he's got to get to. So
you only turn 9 once. You only turn 9.
So we'll let it slide. We'll let it slide for now. Then also, second headline that we got for you is Boudreaux, came out of nowhere and, well, kind of out of nowhere. I still thought that they would at least let him finish out the season, but I guess, make the move now, which is kind of tough since they've won, they've gotten points in 5 of the last 6, right? Something like that?
Yeah. Well, they're 7-3-1 in their last 11, 4-1-1 in their last 6. They've trimmed their deficit in the wild card race. I didn't look at the standings this morning, but it's either 3 or 4 points behind Arizona. So they're right there. They've got a lot of time. But the reality is Guerin had to make a decision right now. Boudreaux was in a lame duck year. It didn't sound like he was going to bring him back, and that's kind of how it works. A new GM comes in, especially as late as Guerin did after Paul Fenton was fired, right before the season, and he's going to get his guy. And what's to be determined now is who his guy is. And I think the timing that everybody's talking about can be summed up. I'm telling you right now, just whatever Michael Russo says, you should probably believe it.
Yeah.
And he's saying former Vegas Golden Knights head coach Gerard Gallant is a pretty heavy candidate at this point. And the timing makes sense now because I think Boudreaux's the 8th head coach to be fired. Well, if you want to start talking to Gallant before a lot of these other teams do and try to persuade him to get here to Minnesota, if you think he's the right fit, then maybe it was time for Boudreaux to go, and we can start planting those seeds for Gallant or whoever the guy actually is.
Awesome.
Well, perfect. Well, I know I can speak for all 3 of us when we appreciated the nice article that you wrote on the episode last week with Michael Bennett.
Oh, it's a great interview, guys. I mean, you guys were, breaking news. I mean, that's it can take, the best of the best in this business who have the greatest access to interviews forever to get that kind of honesty out of anybody that's been a professional athlete. And kudos to Michael Bennett for talking about it, and kudos to you guys for getting him on the show and, making him feel comfortable enough to talk about it.
Well, we appreciate that. Again, we're with Joe Nelson of BringMeTheNews.com, and anytime any breaking news happens, he'll be our correspondent for the show, Twist Nation. So we appreciate you coming on again with us, Joe.
Yeah, anytime, guys.
Thanks
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Cool.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
So he's our new Joe News. That's fun. That'll be a nice little addition to the show.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not the biggest hockey fan. I grew up in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we didn't have a professional team. The closest team was the Blackhawks. Never a big fan because it wasn't really talked about a lot. But when you get a guy like that on, I mean, obviously, I talk to Matt every day, but when you talk to a guy like Joe Nelson, it gives you the breakdown. It's like, okay, what does this mean for the local team? And it makes it a lot easier to follow.
I'm in the same boat as you. I grew up in Minnesota. I come from a hockey family. There's a picture of me on the ice when I'm 3 years old, crying like a baby. I hate the cold. I do. I hate it. I'm a basketball guy. I always was. And so that's why Benz is our hockey go-to guy, and Greg and I kind of fade off in the back. And we can have our opinions, but obviously Joe Nelson, writes articles for his own business and is going to be a huge asset to our show. So we were super excited to have him on.
Awesome.
So a little segment on our show called The Day in the Life, where you can kind of just sit back with us and get to know your hosts a little bit more. So a fun, either horrible, somebody cut you off in traffic or anything like that.
tell you what, my day in life is going to be right when we're done with this show. Got Connor's 9th birthday. My son Connor. Yes, I did name my son Connor with a K, so his initials are KGB. He's going to be a linebacker for the Packers, or I don't know, just walk off the initials KGB.
Yeah.
But I got that birthday party coming up at Grand Slam. Looking forward to getting on the trampoline with a bunch of 9-year-olds, giving them some elbows.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Well, my day is actually going to be today as well. First and foremost, one of our fans, Sean Sorrow. It's Sean's birthday today.
Happy birthday,
Sean. Hope you have a great one. Since last night, I didn't really get to take my significant other, Taylor, out because of Valentine's. We're actually going to go out tonight. We're going to go to Mancini's Char House down in St. Paul. Get me a big piece of steak, anything that they got going on. It sounds spectacular. And then enjoy the rest of my weekend.
My day in the life would be many days of traveling, moving. So thankful for these two helping out and all that fun stuff. But almost in.
Yeah.
all right, player to watch for the upcoming week. I have Ja Morant.
Ooh,
Why?
I like it, yeah.
Why? Because when Zion came back, all the attention went to him. But quietly, I mean, he plays for Memphis, so not a huge market. Memphis right now is above 500, 28 and 26. They're third in their division, and Ja Morant has put up incredible numbers. I mean, he's not incredible like MVP.
Hell of a player, though.
But
It's
he's
fun to watch.
fun to watch. He's everything you would hope for in a draft that had a clear-cut number one. He is the clear-cut number two. And it's exciting to watch him. It was fun watching him and Zion play together last night in the Rising Stars game. But I'm really excited to see him post All-Star break and for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, they're right on the bubble, too.
Yeah.
They're 8th seed right now. So, yeah, just to see if he can be elite and continue to help carry that team, which –
I'm a big fan of that team. They got Jaren Jackson
Sure.
last year, who I think's, already a good player but has the potential to be a great player. You bring in Ja, who I loved in college, but you never know, especially with somebody with his frame, if they're going to make that transition. I mean, Russell Westbrook is a lot stockier than him, and they do play a lot. There's a lot of similarities right there between them, but, I mean, he's a beast is what he is. So that is a good player to watch. So we got a couple minutes left in the show before we got to end it. So rtfsportsnetwork.com. Vote for your favorite show today. And your favorite show is Twist. Okay?
Duh.
Yeah, don't watch all the shows and then pick us and then watch our show.
Correct. Yeah, so we air there. We'll be live on Mondays at 7 Central.
And vote from many devices. Like grab your wife's phone, your husband's phone, grab a vote from all of them.
If you're like me and you have a Gmail for Twist and Sir Miking and all these different things, I can vote probably 5 times. So
at least
I'm actually going to do that as well. So make sure to go to rtfsportsnetwork.com, vote for us, check out our show page as well. So we'll be
flood the ballot box. This isn't a political election.
Absolutely.
Flood it.
Notice, but lately I've been drifting aimlessly. It's gonna be this way.
What are we watching tonight, Benz?
Well, I'm going to have it recording.
That's right.
But it's going to be the State Farm All-Star Saturday night on TNT. It starts at 7 p.m. Starts with Taco Bell Skills Challenge. Then it goes to the 3-point. And then, of course, the Slam Dunk Contest. I'm excited to see, Howard coming back to the dunk contest.
And Aaron Gordon.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, that will be entertaining. I always like the skills competitions way more than the game itself. So, that'll be on DVR, and I'll watch that when I get home.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the dunk contest too. I do like what they've done with it because after a while you just can't find new dunks to do.
Sure.
So I like the theatrics, the attitude. It's gonna be nice to have Howard back with dreadlocks now, and it's always fun to watch the 3-point contest because just fun to see someone. And that's usually the one where it's like the guy who does well throughout the season usually ends up winning that, whereas the dunk contest is like usually it could be someone that you've never heard of before.
Exactly.
Is the celebrity game today?
I think that was last night.
That was last night. Well, I guess I'll be watching the dunk contest.
There it is.
So episode 11 of Twist. Thank you, John Barry, for being our special guest interview. Thank you, Joe Nelson from BringMeTheNews.com. Make sure to tune in next week for a special after the show edition of the Baumans. Thank you again, everybody. We'll see you next week.